guitar I've had in my possession the longest is my 1992 Seagull S6 CW Acoustic. While I admit it isn't the acoustic I reach for most often, it is still an instrument I use on a semi-regular basis. In the early 90s, the sister of a friend gave me a G.J. Gould acoustic guitar that she wasn't interested in anymore. Now, up to that time, the only acoustic guitar I had was a beat-up harmony student guitar that my parents had bought me back in elementary school, so I was more than happy to take the instrument off her hands. I used it any time I played, and even attempted to write some of my earliest songs on it. The downside was that it had a crack in the body that was slowly expanding. I knew I wanted to replace the guitar with another acoustic, and just like when I bought my Peavey a few years later, I didn't want what everyone else was playing. I limited my search to Elderly Instruments in Lansing, Michigan, largely due to the fact that they have a huge selection of acoustic instruments to choose from, and I was convinced I could find something I liked. I was correct in that assumption. After trying out numerous guitars, I ended up gravitating toward the Seagull line. I had already decided that I wanted an acoustic with a built-in pickup, but not one with an equalizer and volume knob, and I didn't want a gloss finish on it either. After finally making my choice, I had to come to the realization that I didn't have the money for it at the time, and that I would need to pinch and save to get it. I had to satisfy myself with visiting it periodically in the store and playing it during those excursions. Saving money is not always easy and is even more difficult when one is a college student. Over the next few months, I made a little bit of progress towards my goal, but not as much as I would have liked. Then, fate stepped into the picture. At that time, I had the G.J. Gould acoustic, a cheap Hondo semi-hollow electric, and a beautiful Guild Starfire 12-string electric guitar. Someone broke into the house I was living in, stole my guitars and some other instruments owned by my housemates. My parents luckily had replacement value insurance that would cover my possessions while away at college, and so the Seagull acoustic I had been desiring came into my possession, as well as an Alvarez Dana II electric and a Strat Styles Charvel. The Guild was a real loss, but I wasn't disappointed in the upgrades to the other two guitars. The Seagull was my primary acoustic until a couple of years ago when my dad gave me his Alvarez Koa guitar, which I'll cover at a later time. Even though it slipped down the rung of favorability, I still use the Seagull often when layering acoustic guitars in my music. It has a more mellow sound than my other acoustics and lends itself well to this use. While I could manage things fine musically without it, I've grown quite attached to it.